Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome back, all my Dark Knights. So this is going to be just a little bit different of a video. We're going to talk about this expansion that's been released. I've been jumping on the interwebs and all this stuff. I'm looking at Reddit. Crazy, I know. I really don't do that too much, and I'm looking at Twitter as well, which is now called X, but whatever, and came upon an expansion coming out every year or so. Rod Ferguson, which is the general manager to Diablo 4, was basically interviewed. I don't know who he was interviewing, but he was asking the most dumbest questions I've ever seen. But anyways, he was basically asking him a question, and this is RF. This is Rod Ferguson. The guy was talking about like where you see Diablo go, and he's like, but it's season to season. That's the things we're focused on. When you look at launch of the game and the first season, we see that building a foundation on which we can build for the future. So we look at quarterly seasons and we look at annually expansions. These are the things we're really focused on for our live service. I don't know what they really mean for their live service, but we got plans. We have storylines that will go into the future. We've got plans. We're also leapfrogging our seasons and leapfrogging our expansions. So it's something we're going to do for a long time. We're excited. So I kind of get nervous sometimes when people are talking about the future, talking about the future. But what is going on in the present? Sometimes you need to be concerned about what's going on in the present. And granted, the guy was asking questions about the future, so I get Rod Ferguson kind of talking about the future, but I just this is just a guy looking on the outside, looking in, and I'm just like, well, what about you talking about now? And then he goes on to say, when you look back and realize that there was 11 years in between Diablo 3 and Diablo 4, that feels like we didn't live up to players, our community, and what they deserve. There's a lot of things that I wasn't even a Diablo 3 guy, but there's a lot of things apparently in Diablo 3 that this game doesn't have. I will dive into that in a second, but we'll come back to that. Them letting people down because they had things, and I was a Diablo 2 guy, and this game is just, I don't know, man. It's kind of fell short a little bit, but I'm still hanging in there. It's all good. With our quarterly seasons and an expansion roughly every year, it sounds like Diablo 4 is aiming for a cadence similar to Destiny 2. Bungie games are largely struck to that. Though expansions have been delayed in the past, of course, that Diablo 4 matches Destiny 2 is spectational on our part. I don't really know much about Destiny 2. If you guys have anything in the comments you guys want to drop in about Destiny 2, link the dots for some of us. I'm not tracking what's going on with Destiny 2. So if you guys are reading this, give a comment below, please. Let us know what's going on. On that game, development can change, and this is likely just a projected release schedule. Still, it seems from the phrasing that Blizzard could be aiming for an expansion anyways. That's just the guy. So anyways, I was jumping on social media, kind of looking what's going on. I would love an expansion. A lot of people were complaining about like, oh, it's an L if it's gonna cost more than $25. And I jump on there. I'm like, it's like World of Warcraft. Like every year, there's a new expansion, $60. Like pay up. Like if you can't afford $60 a year, I mean, you really shouldn't even be playing video games. Like, you need to worry about getting a job if that's really what you're concerned about. So there's just so many people that just get on the internet and just complain about silly things. It's just like, that's really what you're worried about? I'm more worried about starting all over and things like that. Can I still pick up my characters? Can I still play with them? That's the big thing that I always got annoyed with in World of Warcraft when they came out with expansions. You'd have to level up, and then you get all these new classes and everything, and now your class is even weaker than it was before. That's the thing that scares me about expansion, not the price. The price? Like, you're really worried about $25 versus $60? Like, that's like for a year? It's the same person probably stopping at Starbucks every day, dropping $20 for a frappe or something like that, and they're gonna. It's like, come on, man, save me the junk. Anyways, I'm super excited about the expansion. I hope you guys are too. I'm sticking it out, man. We're flowing with Diablo 4. We really are, guys. Jump along with us. Like, that's just what we're doing. And then here's another thing I kind of want to pull up. This was a big thing that's kind of going on in Reddit right now. Here's just a little post about, Diablo 3 apparently. Like Diablo 3, you're changing your affixes and you're able to see actually what you can possibly get. And the point of this story is you don't have to go to 15 different websites just to find what you need. Like, I got a website that I have to pull up specifically for how to get aspects that I want. And I got to figure out like what do I need to use for obols and like, oh, if I do this, this has a higher percentage chance. It's like, give us something in game that really just solidifies all of this. Just give us something. Like, we have to go to too many websites to find all this information we need to know. Like, why can't there be a damage meter in game? Do it like Raid Shadow Legends as well. Like, there's certain specs that you can look at, just like there's kind of certain champions in there that people can rate. Like, have specs or have builds be in the game itself, and then be a copy paste, kind of like World of Warcraft is, and like allow there to be like places where you can review this and say, hey, this is what. So there's, I know, granted, that kind of hurts a lot of these YouTubers and things like that, but there's always going to be content on YouTube. Like, don't be afraid of that. Like, nobody should be afraid of that. If you're really afraid of that, then what are you doing making content? And a caveat to that is, I would like to see in these expansions end game content where, kind of like World of Warcraft has it, where you get a specific thing per week, like you get a certain goal per week done, and then you get something rewarded that week. Why not have it where rather than me playing 30 dungeons a week and getting absolutely nothing, how about say like, hey, if you play 10 dungeons above 50, above 60, above 70, above 80, above 90, above 100, whatever, right? Have something for every scale. Have it scale up. You get a certain reward in return. And I got a couple of rewards I was thinking about, like right off the top of my head. That'd be awesome. Number one, I'd really like to see, can we get another affix? Like, I know we can already upgrade one, but let us upgrade two. Hey, let me do two. Let me do a bunch of 80s or whatever, 60s, 70s, and let me get another affix put on there. So that way, when I do these 30 dungeons and I get absolutely nothing, at least I have a piece of gear that I have now that I can upgrade, that I can change one of the affixes, get that gear maybe even a little bit better than it is. Like, give us that ability rather than having to find a perfect roll on something. Not only are we going to we need a drop, we also need a perfect roll on everything. So there's just so many things. And then also, let's get it where we can actually grab an aspect off of a piece of gear. And how about we can keep that aspect? And how about it doesn't destroy the equipment? And then how about I can just keep using that one and I don't need like 50 of these things? Like, they were complaining about, space and inventories, about how it's going to take up their server space. Well, how about you just let us keep one aspect and I won't want 20 of them. I'll just pull it off a piece of gear. Let's caveat into that. Like, let's get these upgrades a little bit cheaper. My God, I spent 40 million gold on a yellow and I didn't even get the thing I wanted. I kind of had to settle for it. I was like, man, this is getting ridiculous. So anyways, guys, let's wrap this up. And by the way, this is my first level 100 clear. I was super happy about it, but guys, give me some comments below. Let me know, what would you guys like to see in these future expansions? Are you for it? Are you against it? I'm 100% for it. I would like to see that. There's a lot of things that they can improve. There's tons of things that they can improve. and I feel like we'll slowly get it. I don't know why it is with Diablo, but it's just they're just super difficult to change. Like I don't know who's designing it, but I'm gonna stay on it. I'm gonna stay having fun, guys. I hope you guys have fun with me. Let me know if you guys kind of like these little updates, like quick and at night and stuff like that. Let the at the top of the hour, this info comes out and I drop it that same day. Anyways, guys, this was my level 100, and guys, I will see you guys in the next video. All my Dark Knights, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Hey, hit the join button. We appreciate that too. Anyway, see you in the next one, guys. Take it easy.